What if the 80-20 rule, this Pareto Rule, the rule that says that 20% of resources can make 80% of effort, can this rule be valid for us as human beings? Can it be valid in terms of the consciousness of us as human beings? In line with what Dr. David Hawkins, medical doctor, PhD, researched from his perspective of going nearly all the way up into the highest consciousness levels and measuring this percentage of people that are currently below the integrity level of 200. This integrity level, which is the starting point for one to have proper perspective on truth and falsehood. It's the beginning of knowing the real truth. Below that level, all the things that we see are ego-driven. All the things that we are driven by are ego-driven, instinct-driven, automatic. And 20% of people are there to sustain all the other ones. He was measuring this twice. First it was over 80%, had consciousness level below 200, below integrity level. And second time, it was only 79%. And in 1986, what he measured, that average for human beings was 207 for all. All considering those 20% with higher consciousness level that sustains the other ones. In terms of energy, it's what his description was. If those 20% didn't have enough energy to sustain this other 80%, it could mean that energetically human beings are going down, maybe extinct. But in terms of moving to this level above 207, from his perspective, and he was highlighting as well great avatars. For me, the most important one is Jesus Christ, because avatars, they measure on the level of 1000, because above that the human body cannot sustain this type of energy. So 1000 is the maximum. It was Jesus Christ, Buddha, Krishna. But the important one was that there is, on average, right now, tendency in human beings to start to know the truth, start to grow in this positive direction, start to build on the integrity level, to go to the levels above, to the level of love, of unconditional love, of joy, of peace, of harmony, of oneness. But all those levels, all those small steps are on logarithmic scale. So 1 point is much, much more than usually. And from his perspective, single human being is able during his life to grow the consciousness for average of 5 to 7 points. Sometimes can be enlightened and grow much, much more. But this is this great aspect that we have in here. We have lots of opportunities to grow this way. We have lots of guides, but for those guides we have to as well verify which we want to follow, which ones will enable our growth. And it's not necessarily the ones with most shiny appearance, the ones that can talk to people. It's the ones that really care about people, that connect to others with love, with support, no conditions. Connect as brothers that want to help, to go out of this consciousness of ego, of consciousness that is the source of suffering here on earth, and is this destination to this hell on earth. We were not destined to live hell on earth, and we were not destined to listen to this voice that keeps giving us those guidelines that bring us down. We need to work on our senses. We need to work on our perception, because this is the source of our development. And if we see it from the perspective of oneness, in all situations, we might consider that we are talking to ourselves about different aspects. This external world is the reflection of our internal world. Those thoughts are one of those attributes that we look at. Emotions, all those beliefs that have been built in during our lifetime, everything tries to be this filter, this prism that you as consciousness want to look through. But you have a choice all the time. You have a choice to choose empowerment over fear. Because ego, fear, and suffering, everything is the same. And following this voice that tries to bring you down, tries to talk you out of being courage, having courage in all those situations that you want to progress on is the way that you want to see as limiting you, because you have no limits. You have choice always to choose truth over falsehood, because ego is falsehood. Ego is the source of suffering, and ego is this soul element that is showing you that you are taking everything personal. And as highlighted by David Hawkins. Ego tries to judge everything, tries to be talkative, because it wants to stay safe, it wants to survive, and in these aspects, it's like it keeps talking, because if it stops talking, then it might be like the highlight that it's the end of ego. And as mentioned by David Hawkins, it is. Because going to certain consciousness level gets you out of dualism and into union with everyone, this allness, where you see that all those negative, positive, dualistic decisions that you've been making are non-existent. You made choices. You made choices to grow. But who was watching on the outcome of those choices? It was this consciousness that is in there all the time. This consciousness that is much, much faster than the mind. The mind and ego as the same aspect. This consciousness that gets its layer when you go above certain consciousness level, and is then faster than instinct that drives the automatic reactions driven by ego. That was very eye-opening for me, but that is as well difficult to pass. This 80-20 rule doesn't help that much in this aspect, but it's as well good to see yourself being the servant of others, not setting yourself on any level, just trying to serve, just trying to be the best version of yourself, and just trying to pass these empowering messages that will help others when they are down, in anger, stress, anxiousness, with any limiting beliefs that they are stuck with. To grow to this level of having fun every day, seeing the joy of creation in everyone, seeing the beauty in everyone, seeing the beauty in every situation. Just changing the perspective, just changing this description of what is happening. Everything can be described from at least two perspectives. On this perspectives level, on dualism, at least two perspectives exist: falsehood and truth, joy and fear, courage and fear. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening. Bye.